and welcome. I'm Mireille, and today we are reading a few of these giveaway books that I have been accumulating over the past few months. This is kind of becoming excessive. These are just the physical giveaway books that I have. I also have quite a bit of Kindle books. I've mainly stopped entering Kindle giveaways just because I don't focus on the Kindle books as much, so I forget that they exist. But the physical books are a good reminder of, hey, you should read this. I've also noticed that when I read the Kindle books, if I really like them, then I'm upset that I don't own them, and then I have to go out and buy them, which is unfortunate. But at least it saves me the trouble of buying the book before I know if I really like it. But anyways, we're getting ahead of ourselves. Luckily for you, I am filming this intro after I've already read the books that I'm going to be reading, so you don't have to hear me ramble about every single last one of these. However, I will be showing you which books we will be picking up today. The first book I decided to pick up is actually one of the Kindle books I read, just because it was a book I was very much looking forward to reading. I didn't hear about it until I saw it in the Goodreads giveaway list, but it is a romantasy, and I absolutely love romantasies, and it looked really good, so I was really excited to read it, so I read it. And that is A Feather So Black. You'll just have to keep watching to see how much I liked it, but that is the first book I read. Next I read Under Your Spell, which is a rom-com, and you'll just have to see that. And then I read Begin Again, which is a literary fiction, general fiction book. I think it says on the back. Yeah, it's just fiction. Yeah, you'll see what it's about. Anyways, here's the other books I have for reference. I have so many other books to read. I could do like 3 more of these and still probably not be done my giveaway books, but we'll see if I end up doing that. I'll probably just try to sparse them out throughout other reading vlogs, but I was getting behind, so I really needed to do this. Thanks for the excuse, honestly. So I'm about halfway through A Feather So Black so far, and I am actually really enjoying it. I really like the world, and I really like our female main character's backstory, like how she was, left for the queen in exchange for her daughter, and like her relationship with her, like basically her like adoptive mother in a sense, and the way she has to keep her like fairy magicness like a secret. So I'm really liking that. I'm liking that storyline. The main thing I'm not fully sold on is the romance, which I feel like is a big part. And it's not that I don't like the romance. I like it. I kind of prefer her with like her childhood best friend that she grew up with, which I know we're not supposed to. Like, we're supposed to be rooting for the evil, not the evil, but like the fairy lord. But I like her relationship with her childhood best friend more. I feel like it's more developed and it makes more sense to me. Like, I understand their feelings and why they have them. With the fairy lord, I mean, they don't really know each other that well. They are like sharing stories with each other. Like, they do talk and have like deepish conversations. I just like don't fully believe it. Maybe because of like they're only meeting one night a month. I don't know. We'll see if I change my mind and if I actually come to like believe in this fairy lord dude. But right now I'm rooting for the best friend. It also has a very classic like fantasy world where there's a bunch of new words to learn, and I'm finding it a little harder in this book to keep track of the new words than I usually am. I don't know if it's because like the words are just so different than what I'm used to, but that's a thing. And there's a glossary in the back, but I'm too lazy to flip to it in the Kindle, which should be silly. It should be easy, but I don't know. I just haven't been. I've just been like, I don't know what that means, and like trying to guess but not being completely sure. So that's happening, but I'm really enjoying it so far. Excited to finish it. I have officially finished A Feather So Black, and I really liked it. Honestly, I think I'm just a sucker for romantasy books, but I think this was done well. I really do. There are some things I think weren't the best compared to other books, mainly the love interest relationship. I still didn't fully believe it. I liked the main love interest, like I like the fairy lord guy, but there's just like something off there. We'll see how the second book goes. I do really want to pick up the next book. I'm really excited for it to come out. I think it comes out this year sometime, maybe. Regardless, I'm really excited for it. Hopefully I grow to love the relationship a little more in that one. Me not fully believing in their love doesn't really take away that much from the book. I think the fantasy world was very nice and well done. I liked the conflict in the story, and I really liked the ending in this book. It was very much not what I expected. Like, I had a few ideas on how it might end because I knew kind of the gist of what had to happen for like both of them to survive, but I did not expect what happened. Like, going into the next book, like there are many unanswered questions. Like, I don't fully know what the situation is like in the world at this point. I don't know who our players will be in the next book. I don't know who the enemy will be yet, or like at all what the situation is in the world at the end of this book. But I think that's fun. Like, I am super excited to find out where this is going in the next book. Next we have either Begin Again or Under Your Spell, and I think I'm going to pick up Under Your Spell just because I am in the mood for a fun little romance, and that's what this is. So that's what we're going to go for. So I'm about halfway through Under Your Spell, and I am really enjoying it so far. I think the backstory between our main character and her sisters is fairly unique, at least compared to what I've read, and I'm really enjoying that. And their banter is really good, both with everyone really, like with her sisters, between her and the love interest, and between her and like other people that she is working with on her job. I also think the story is really believable. Like, I believe their relationships. I can see them growing closer and closer. Like, they are clearly interested in each other, but I understand why it's taking a little longer for them to, you know, reach the romance. And I also really like that as we read and as they talk and form like deeper connections, we learn more and more bits of both of their backstories, which I really appreciate because we're, you know, starting to learn them gradually as we read on. So the storyline is basically following the classic one night stand to we can't be together to forced proximity situation, which I love me some forced proximity, so I'm really enjoying that aspect of this book, and I think it's done really well, so I'm really enjoying it. Anyways, I will check back in with you later once I finish. Dare I say I liked this more than A Feather So Black? I feel like that's crazy because, you know, I love a good romantasy, but I just feel like the characters in this and their relationships were a little more well developed than they were in A Feather So Black, and that is why I like this one so much more. I think this is perfect if you're a fan of romance and not a fan of spice, because this is no spice, like at most like closed door, fade to black, whichever is the correct term. But yeah, like no spice, So good in that department. I feel like this was like the right amount of slow burn. Like the characters obviously were smitten with each other the entire time, but they had like very good reasons for not wanting to be together right away, and very good reasons for like restraining themselves, if that makes sense. And then I feel like they very slowly grew into their feelings and accepted their feelings of one another and, you know, romance. The third act conflict in this also was very well done. Like, you didn't get the classic, sorry, excuse Harvey, he's just making the bed a little more comfortable. Yeah, I feel like the third act conflict was very believable. It made sense. It's kind of what I expected. It was like a very normal thing to have happened and a very believable conflict. So I appreciate that. And yeah, I don't really have any complaints about this. I think it was fantastic. I gave it like 4 stars, maybe 4.25 overall. Did I say what my rating for A Feather So Black was? My rating for A Feather So Black was 4 stars. So they like both kind of landed the same, but I did like this one a smidge better. So there's that if you want to compare them. But this goes on sale June 25th, 2024. So got a little more than a month before you can pick this up, but I highly recommend it. So if you're into romance, rom-coms, go get it. The last book I'm going to be reading in our Goodreads giveaway reading vlog today will be Begin Again by Helly Acton. Now, essentially this is about a girl who gets the chance to see what her life would be like if she lived it, if she made like slightly different choices. You know, what would you do if you could begin again? Anyways, this is what we're reading next. I finished Begin Again a couple days ago. I just needed to give myself a minute to really confirm how I felt about this book. And after starting to read another book after this, I have finished confirming. This was alright. It wasn't my favorite book. I gave it 3 stars overall. I was playing with the idea of giving it like 3.5 because I did enjoy it, but you know, I don't think the concept of this book is what I enjoy reading, since we follow Frankie, who's experiencing her life in like 5 different ways that it could have happened if she had made different decisions. We only follow her and her experiences and like her relationships with her friends, and we don't get as much of her other friends' perspectives, if that makes sense. Like, we know how her friends feel about her through all these different experiences, but they're not growing with her. So it's just one character whose growth we see. And I feel like that just made it a little limited for me in what we get to experience in this world. I did like seeing all of her different lives and how different they were, and you know, what they meant to her, like the pros and the cons of those different lives she could have lived, and like the conclusion she comes to the end was nice. I don't know, she probably made the best decision for herself. I don't know if that's what I would have picked if I was choosing between all of her lives, but I think she chose all right. I think it was an interesting concept, the way she is put into all these different lives, like that other world that she's kind of like existing in between each of those lives. I think that was the main thing I didn't like. It felt very like sci-fi-y. It felt very different than the rest of the book, I guess. It was just kind of a weird scenario for me. But I think it was good overall, just not my favorite. There's a lot of other books I would prefer to read, but I didn't not like it, if that makes sense. I think we had a really good few weeks of reading Goodreads giveaway books. I mean, we had A Feather So Black, which I gave 4 stars, and I'm really looking forward to the second book in the series, so I think that was a win. I love romantasy. I don't think you can really go wrong with romantasy. And then we had Under Your Spell, which I gave like 4.25 stars. I thought this was done really well. And then Begin Again, which wasn't my favorite of the books, but it also wasn't bad. So 2 4s and a 3. I think that is a fantastic collection of giveaway books. If you enjoyed this, let me know. Maybe I'll do this again because I have a lot of giveaway books to get through, and this is a great way for me to prioritize doing that. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll see you next time. Bye!